Okay, it's time for the All-Ireland Senior Football Championship final build-up. We've done the hurling last week. It's Dublin versus Kerry this weekend in the football, and of course a man familiar to a lot of Dublin GAA fans and known to many in Dublin GAA circles is Dublin Gerry. Dublin Gerry Francis Martin Gowran, we're going with the full name.
Correct, yeah, Dublin Gerry Francis Martin Gowran.
You've been going to Dublin matches, what's your first memory, I suppose, of a Dublin match, Gerry?
58. The usual procedure, your dad used to bring you down, throw you over the turnstiles, you know. That was my start, and my father played for Westmeath for a while, played a few league matches, so it was in the DNA. And then the relations used to come up from the country, from Westmeath, and go to the match, stay my mother's overnight. If they're going forward, which a lot of them emigrated at that time, used to stay my mother's more or less the halfway house, you know.
Yes.
And then a first cousin, brother Larry, he died there 2 years ago. He trained the Amman Miners in '92. For beating 2-5 to 10 by Mead. So there's a lot of GAA. He was a great man up the north. McKenna Cups, McRory Cup. She was in all the CBS for years. She's a fantastic name up the north, you know. We got Sportsman of the Year thing twice up there, you know. Done great work with the colleges and Belfast for the underprivileged kids. Years of service. Great man, yeah. That was my first cousin of mine, yeah. So it's in the DNA, so I'm going ever since.
Fully runs in the blood then. And you would have gone to Vincent's in Glasnevin, would it, as a kid?
Yeah, Vincent's great school for the GAA, Christian Brothers, never done any harm in me, only for doubt them. I don't think I would have kicked off because the early teachers, probably with families and all, so they were dedicated. Christian Brothers were dedicated. Brother Mons there, Brother Burke and Brother Cahill, you know, really. I played the hurling and football and handball, so I kind of got the handy homework, you know.
The Fianna would have been your club?
Oh, straight in the Fianna, yeah. That was the conveyor belt. Like, I think Desi and J.O. played for J.O. I went to school with all J.O.'s uncles, they living in Pittsburgh, you know. So, under 16, juvenile under 16 of mine, that was around the 66, 67. So that was the enemy GAA. We went for trials with Dublin for the minor, and remember we were going out to Raheny Park, but I didn't get the call. I believe David Hickey got more spawn the team, but he done well. So I won't begrudge him that.
He did okay, in fairness to him, in the end up.
Yeah.
What sort of memories would you have had then going to Dublin matches in Croke? Even in the 80s, even the 70s and 80s, the 80s especially, I suppose the 12 Apostles jumped straight to mind.
Yeah, that was great. The atmosphere. With the tickets now, you know, it's all technology now. They're all of their iPhones. I'm just the old. I never move with the times, technology. But I was great for the horse and carriages that time, and we check it all out, and the colours go down town for an hour or two, then into the pub for a few points, you know. I think the handball alley was there that time, and then a few points after the match. But as long as I'm going, I'm still going. I never seen a row, never. And to be all drinking out in the street, and you know, there's no plastic glasses, all glass was glass. Never seen a row. Never seen a row inside Croke Park or outside it. That's being honest with you. As long as I'm going, and that's a long time, yeah. So you have to respect the GAA people. They're a special breed. There's no bad people in it, you know. They're all, as I said many times, interviews, they're the biggest family in Ireland, and long may continue. Doesn't matter what county you're from. Once you're in the GAA, we've been all over the country. Nobody say if you have a membership card. No, you're in the GAA, you're part of the team, you're part of the family. That's all over the country.
100%. People will recognise you from going to matches with your full Dublin regalia and gear on, and the 4 in a row, 5 in a row, 6 in a row equipment. I suppose you've probably spent a few quid on the gear over the years. I'd imagine you've that much of it.
Yeah, but a lot of stuff, paraphernalia and books and programmes and souvenirs. Remember before down my years ago, I came up to the bedroom, she says, son, you want to clear out this bedroom, you'll die of claustrophobia, you know. You suffocate with all this stuff. But I'm very proud to wear the suit. Please God, I haven't worn it since 2020 replay, but please God now on Sunday I'm looking forward to it. A lot of people say I should be wearing a straight jacket, but I differ their opinion on that one, you know.
That's what some people think. You're allowed to differ in your opinion there. Has your match day going experience, you know, the pub you go to beforehand, you know, the people you meet, has that all changed over the years, or have you kept fairly solid with how your match day looks?
I know, like years ago when we were single, we used to be drinking a 6, maybe 7 or 8 in the morning. That's all changed. I don't have a drink before the match now. I drive over and drive back. Now the Gibson was great when Jim was there. Go down to the Gibson, have a few points. So you don't meet the players anymore. It's all too much security involved. down the country is great. I was down in Nolan Park, and the fellas were out in the pitch for change. Cluxton was the last man in. He's a changed man since he came back, because years ago, as you know, we go straight to the tunnel, but you know, he's great. They're all great with the kids, signing autographs, taking selfies. But you don't get that in Croke Park. It's all rush. It's all time. Where they're rushing to, you know. But down the country is great. All the kids can get down on the pitch, get a photograph, get a signature, which is great, especially for the kids, because they're the generation coming up now, you know.
What are your memories of the Dublin Kerry rivalry over the years? I suppose this is another rendition of it this weekend, but over the years it's been one that's, even in the mid-80s, those couple of finals that Kerry came on top of, it's always been a bitter enough rivalry, but also a bit of respect there as well.
Oh yeah, total respect, yeah. The O'Shea's, the Donahue's, the Gills, I know them all. Great to meet them away from Croke Park, have a few points to crack in the banter, you know. But Paddy O'Shea, Larby got to him, said to me one time, you know, Dublin Gerry boy, you will never win an All-Ireland property, boy, till you beat Kerry in the final. So, 2-11 that night in the border, we came out and bought me a point, yeah. Another great statement, Paddy said to me, says, you know, Gerry Dub boy, one All-Ireland in the back pocket is good as 10, boy. Another great statement, our great Jimmy Keaveney, the great Jimmy Keaveney, made a great statement years ago, and I still use it to today. It's not the medals at home in the drawer, it's the people you meet. And he's 110% correct in making that statement, yeah. I've met hundreds all over the country, yeah, and remain good friends with them, you know.
It's a very true statement, to be fair to Jimmy. That gap, I guess, Gerry, from 95 to 2011, and that Cluxton Kick must have been just a unbelievable sense of relief, when first of all when the kick went over, but also just that whole day and week afterwards, you know, to celebrate winning All Ireland. 16 years was a nice gap for Dublin, you know.
Well, 83, 12 apostles, yeah. Poor Atlanta was passed on. Mick Holden and the great Brian Mullins, there's three gone off that team. 70s are still going strong, thank be to God. Nobody passed away since that. But yeah, 95, you know, I used to go to training for years, but 95 was a special time because I went to all the training sessions. And them players been together since 88, 89, Cork beat in the 89 semi-final. But that was their Custer's last stand. Any of them players will tell you, Charlie Redmond, Paddy Morton, Paul Clark, O'Leary, that was their last chance, 95, and they just got over by the skin of their teeth because they didn't go on to win another Leinster to 2-2. That's a 7-year gap. Mead beat them in 96, 97, so that was her last stand. They had Donegal 92, well, you go to Cork 89 semi-final, 91 the 4 against Mead, 92 Donegal semi, 93 Derry semi, 94 down the final, so Custer's last stand. They just got there. That group was together for a long, long time, you know. What
was going through your head when that Cluxton Kick was sailing over in 2011?
Well, I wrote a song. I never got it. I never got anybody to bring it out. It was over actually the next day after the match, you know. But the third last verse goes, up the pitch Cluxton ran. He had a good look at the Sam. He says, that's hours of what is 3 over. It was just at the death. 82,000 had their bread. One kick and the ball sailed over. There was hats and flags flying, grown men and women crying. I've seen drunken people suddenly getting sober. Kerry, they were started up so with lad as soon as I heard him was over. Brian Cullen's 14 stone, all muscle and bone. He led his team up those famous steps of Croker. And we all knew the last thing he had to do was to lift that Sam high above his shoulders. I missed the presentation. I was on doctor's medication. 3 points and I just flipped over. Dr. David Hickey said to me, Dublin Gerry Francis Martin, can't you see? But he getting drunk and with the name of Jay, he gets sober.
Brilliant. Oh Jesus, that's class. You definitely remember that kick so with a song like that. Yeah. And a brilliant rendition too, Gerry, to be fair.
Yeah.
Like I suppose it means more than beating, as Paddy said, you know, Dublin Kerry in a final just is what everyone wants, and this year it's what everyone wants as well. And the 6 in a row, there was all the talk of, sure, Dublin have all the resources in the world, but then you've had the last couple of years of no victories, and all of a sudden I guess the hunger and appetite is back for Dublin players and fans.
Yeah. Well, there's a very true saying, my father, anybody will tell you, the wheel always comes around, and it did come around last year. The last kick, 11 years since Cluxton put it over, so it is true, the wheel does come around. But the year before that, Mayo, they got a handy 14-yarder, made it a 1-point game, and then the 2 shots at the 45. Extra time, that was it. Last year, Sean O'Shea's super kick against the wind and the hill looking up into the hill, and he nailed it. So, you know, there's only a kick of a ball, that's all there's in it. Now, we hadn't got Paul Mannion last year, Conor Callanan, and who else is missing? Jack McCaffrey. So, them 3 are back this year. So, I'm confident, not overconfident. I reckon Dublin by 3 or 4 points. If we can keep the great David Clifford to about 4 points, you're halfway there. It'll be a good day's work.
From a Dublin perspective, how do you look after David Clifford? What do you do with him?
You don't do anything. You can't mark him left and right. Just look at the points he scored against Derry, 45, 50 metres out. You just have to keep as tight as you can to him, you know. There's no use man marking him. He get about 4 or 5. He can win his own ball, left or right foot. He can hold his man up. He's a super football, even though he's a Kerry man, but I give him 100. You know, you'd have to admire him. You'd have to admire the skill he has, you know. He's one of a kind. I've seen the Gooch, one of the great Kerry powers. He's up there at the top of my list at the moment anyway. Bar injury now, hopefully. It's going to be a great game. There won't be much in it. Hopefully the weather keeps up. And at the end of the day, the best team will win in the day.
Can I ask you before we finish as well, Gerry, I was chatting to Sean Potts in Piper's Corner there yesterday, and he's a massive proponent and fan of James McCarthy. If you had to pick one player from say the era of 70s to 90s, and one player from the current Dublin team, which 2 are you picking? I know it's not an easy question,
no.
But would you have had favourite players over the years?
I wouldn't say favourite players, but it's very hard to just pick one man, you know. James is the only man bar Cluxton to start at every All-Ireland. You know, 2 semi-finals last year. I know we got a black card at one of the years, but James, what an ambassador, what an athlete, you know. Just goes around, does his business. But on Sunday, if James has a good game and Brian Fenton has a good game, that's the secret of the Dublin team, making them runs and open up the fence, like driving a wedge through, hot knife through butter. But we were out at a training session one night, and I brought the record book with me. I said, James, come over here. I said, remember your man used to be on the hill, a great Limerick man. I met him a couple of times with a big placard, John 37. He said, I do, a bit of a religious man. I said, yeah. I said, your father, I know Mommy Life, he was the real John 37. He scored 3-7 against Cardiff in 78 in the championship. That's my John 3-7. Now, I can't call you John 3-7 anymore because you've 8 All-Ireland medals, so please God, next Sunday I'll be calling it 3-9.
You're dead right. And there's history, I think Stephen Cluxton will he become the first footballer to win 9 All-Irelands if he can get over the line on Sunday. I'm open to correction on that, but certainly the man is just an unstoppable force, isn't he? A force of nature. I think he dropped the ball at one point in the semi-final against Monaghan, and there was utter shock because he never does it.
It could have been a spin on the ball, yeah. But when I was going to the training session in Davis, I was there with Steve. I had the boots on behind the goal, kicking the balls back to him. Hours and hours, dedication. You only get out what you put into it. But he's his own man. He's a quiet man. But he's a great man to have back in the dressing room because although James is captain, but there's plenty of leadership coming from Cluxton, you know. He's been there. He came back. What I would have loved to see was James and Mick Fitz and Cluxton getting 10 equal Shetland's record, but they missed the last 2 semi-finals. So please God, I have a banner made up this year, and on one side it says it was great to get the 8, now it's time to get the 9.
Well, hopefully for your sake, Gerry, it happens. You have the banner ready to go and raring.
Ready to go, yeah.
Listen,
yeah.
Gerry, Dublin Gerry, enjoy the match. Try and enjoy the match as much as you can. I know it's nervy when your county is involved, I'd imagine, in an All-Ireland final, but try and enjoy the game as best you can.
I will indeed, yeah. Bar no injuries now. I don't know whether Sean Bug will be fit or not, but anyway, listen, we put out the best team we can. Desi's a great man. I mean, Desi, he never equal for Jim. Jim was fantastic. That will never be equal. That's a one-off, you know. But Desi, he came back in 2-12 after being beaten the Moyne at last kick of the game to win it in 2-12. He was 2 under 21s, and he's one in his pocket senior. So this is going for his second senior. So he never filled Jim's shoes. Nobody will. But he's done a great job, and the highest respect for him and his backroom staff, and the best of luck to all the people involved on Sunday.
Brilliant stuff, Gerry. Thanks a million. Great stuff.